Hey y'all, another week, another set of teams to look at from last year's 2025 CdA Summer Classic here in the beautiful lake city of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Those of you who've been tuning in each week, you already know that we run down the rankings videos. We do a little 1 minute synopsis of each team. We rank them from 90 all the way to number one. We had 90 teams last year, so we're over halfway through. This week, we're looking at teams number 29 to 20 as we kind of get to the nitty gritty of the last teams of the Summer Classic. So next week, we'll do teams 19 through 10. And those who missed out, let's take a look at what happened last week. We looked at 10 teams last week. Number 39 were the Spokane Retros. This is Brett Fashion's team, a team that's been in the tournament for 4 years. They've taken home some hardware. They didn't win it last year, but they did place the year before, or the 2023, I think they took home some hardware. A good team. Number 38, Team Warriors. This team's from it's from Pasco. First time team, Jonathan Kimsey's team. 37, Wasted Potential. Carl Hoskins' team continued to moving up the list. They took home some hardware in aluminum and took home another plaque in nickel last year, so they moved up another division. Number 36, Off the Handle. This is a Will Adams team from Coeur d'Alene, always having a great regular season, and they do good in the Classic. They're looking for their first win on Sunday, though. Number 35, Short Strokes, team that took home some hardware the year before. Didn't win it last year, but still a good run for Chadley Miller's team. Number 34, the Rejects. We talked about them quite a bit. This is Cody Stauffer's team. They had a good run last year, too. Number 33, we've got the Runs, the old in-house team. Amanda Hunt's team had a good showing. Number 32, Swingers, made it all the way to the championship game in the Copper division. Number 31, Free Agents. Madison West's team from the Silver Valley, they've taken home some hardware, I think, 3 straight years. And number 30, our good friend Chad Dan Chamberlain from Missoula, Montana. It was great to see those guys back over. Trash Money Millionaires, formerly the Never Give Up. Let's get things started with number 29 on the list, and that's NFD, Dallas Williams' team from Spokane, Washington. Dallas, this particular team used to be called, I think it used to be called Not That Team way back in the day, transferred to NFD. They've played in the tournament for 11 years, and they were ranked 30th last year. So Dallas's team kind of held serve on where they were ranked, despite 30 more teams being added to the tournament. Group H is where they played out of, where they went 1 and 2. They took on BSE at Memorial Field Friday night. There was a memorial game for Ray Stewart, and a good game as well. They lost to BSE 12-10. Then they played Off the Handle. Will Adams' team from Coeur d'Alene, they fell to them 12-5, and then played the D-Bags. This was the team from Creston, Canada, and they lost to them 8-10. That put them in the bronze division in a first-round matchup against Ouchies, a new team, and they fell to them 18-9 in the first round. But still, another great showing for NFD, always a competitive team. Number 29. Number 28, it was great to have BSE back out to the Summer Classic. Last year, we lost Ray Stewart, who had run this team for the previous 4 years. Scott Lilliquist took over the team this last year. They're out of Missoula, Montana. And Spokane, Washington as well. They have some team. They were ranked 23rd last year, 28th this year. In Group H, they went 1 and 2. They beat NFD down at Memorial Field Friday night, where they did a little memorial ceremony for Ray Stewart, where some teams got to come out and share some stories about Ray. We missed him at this year's Summer Classic. They played the D-Bags, and they fell to them 13-12, and then they played Off the Handle and fell to them 16-9 as well to go 1 and 2 in Group H. That put them in the bronze division, where they took on the Trash Money Millionaires. We talked about Dan Chamberlain a little bit earlier. They were able to get by them 20-11, and then they played the D-Bags again, where they fell 13-3. So, but anyways, it was great to have them back out there, and we just love everybody on BSE, number 28. So number 27 this last year was the Montana Braves. This used to be the old Hub team. Before that, Multiple Scoregasms, run by Benji Headswift from Missoula, Montana. This has been a very competitive team each year. This is the 8th year this team has kind of morphed a little bit with roster, but have always been a very competitive team. Their 8th year, they were ranked 22nd last year. They played out of Group A, where they went 3-0. They played the Misfits from Lewiston in their first game, Anita's team. They were able to get by them 8-5 in a nice defensive battle. And then they played Pass the Bunt. That's Tyler Flowers' team from Spokane. Were able to outlast them 13-1. Then they took on Return to Sender, Mikey's team from Coeur d'Alene, and they won 12-4. to go undefeated and win Group A. That gave them a first round bye in the bronze division, and it took on Ouchies. Ouchies ended up being a pretty good team. They lost to them 20-8 in the quarterfinals, but still a pretty good showing. They pretty much held the ranking they had before. So number 27, Montana Braves, not the Montana. Running into Cold Snacks time, number 26, Cold Snacks. That's Chase Hart's team from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Chase has brought a competitive team out here for several different teams, but this is the second year for the Cold Snacks out here. They were ranked 17th last year, 26th this year. They played out of Group C, where they took on some pretty good teams. They took on C Squad on Friday night and lost to them 14-11 down at Memorial Field. Then they played the Spokane Retros and posted a 10-0 win, and then took on a very competitive Bloodline team. Fell to them 17-12, but no shame in that, as we'll see later on when we look at Bloodline's resume. Put them in the bronze division, and they ended up playing in the quarterfinals. Truly Wasted. They got a first round bye, and they played Truly Wasted from Lewiston. This team was a pretty good team and a very good team. Battle 11-9. I think if Cold Snacks would have got by Truly Wasted, they could have made a run in the bronze division. So hopefully we see Cold Snacks back. Brings us to number 25 in the rankings, and this year that it's Rogers Burgers from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Justin Fay's team, arguably the best team in league for our Coeur d'Alene League last year. I think they only lost one game all year, so a great job going into the tournament. This is their 10th year playing in the Summer Classic, where last year they were ranked 24th, this year 25th, so they basically held their ranking despite all the flood of new teams that came in. They played out of Group F, where they went 2-1. They beat the Apple Knockers Friday night, 13-8, and then in a very competitive game against SP, the team out of Great Falls, that's Kyla's team. They just barely got by them, 12-11, and then in another very hotly contested game, dropped it to Truly Wasted from Lewiston, 13-8, Jazz Robinson's team. I put him in the bronze division, and Rogers is kind of like the Apple Knockers and a few other teams, just hasn't got out of the first round in a few years. They played in the bronze division and got beat by Little Riot. Colton Howard's team beat them 9-2. So we'll see next year if Rogers can get out of there, but still a great showing, number 20. Okay, I went a little over there, so let's jump right into number 24, the Ouchies. This is a first-year team. Justine Christensen's team from Havre, Montana. Havre. I'll have to work on that pronunciation, but this is their first year in the tournament. Let's dive right into how they did, because they did make a little bit of run on Sunday. Group N, they went 1-2. They played the Trash Money Millionaires Saturday morning and beat them 8-5. That's Dan Chamberlain's team. Then they lost to FAFO, Dalton Lozier's team, a good team. They lost to them 16-10, and then another really good team. We'll find out later on. Another one. They only lost 8-6, so they really played some tough teams and battled hard. I put them in the bronze division, where in the first round they took on Dallas's team and beat them 18-9. That advanced them to the quarterfinals, where they took on the Montana Braves and another impressive win, 20-8, until they ran into a Truly Wasted team that was really on their game Sunday afternoon, and they fell 24-4. But for a first-year team, 24, the Ouchies, I think is a great showing. So nice job. Okay, number 23, this is a team that's second year in the tournament. It's Little Riot. The year before, they were the Master Batters. This is Colton Howard's team from Coeur d'Alene. They probably had one of the biggest jumps. They were ranked 60th, and they moved all the way up to 23rd. So Colton's team, really a great job. They played out of Group R, where they went 3-0, and they won that group. They beat Bat Around Friday night, 24-2. Took on B-Town Heroes. We talked about B-Town Heroes earlier, and we know how good of a team they are, and they took care of them 20-8. And then also played the FRB Res Stars from Flathead, I think, is if I remember right, and they beat them 17-2 to go undefeated and take that. Put them in the bronze division, and we just talked about Rogers. They played Rogers and were able to, in a defensive battle with the Rogers Burgers team, able to beat them 9-2. And then they lost to a D-Bags team. We'll talk about the D-Bags here in just a little bit. That's the team from Canada. 20-10, but great job for Colton. He took home some hardware, winning Group R, and just a great showing for Little Riot. Okay, and we've just talked about this team quite a bit, Truly Wasted in some of our recaps with other teams. This is Jazz Robinson's team from Lewiston, Idaho. It's their first year here. We've talked about it in previous weeks. A lot of Lewiston teams this year. It was great to have so much representation from that town. They played out of Group F, where they went 3-0. A great job with a pretty good group of teams they played. They played the Apple Knockers, and they beat them 11-6. Then they took on, and that was out of Plants Ferry. They took on Rogers Burgers after that, also at Plants Ferry, and they beat them 13-8. And then in the nightcap at Ramsey Field, they took on SP from Great Falls and beat them 16-5. So Good games all the way around. They put them in the bronze division where they beat a really good Cold Snacks team 11-8, just getting by them. Then really found their really kind of a surprise to beat the Ouchies as big as they did, 24-4. And then finally in the championship game against the D-backs, this was a great game. It went all the way to like almost 9 o'clock. They lost 29-26, but runners up in the bronze division. Great. Okay, jumping right in, number 21 is the D-Bags from Creston, Canada, our only out of the country team. This is the second year they've played. Chris Ferguson ran the team this year. They played in 2023 where they were ranked 20th, and they ended up taking home the bronze title that year. So this year they played out of Group H where they played off the handle, lost to them 16-15. No shame there. Will Adams has a great team. And then they were able to just get by BSC 13-12, and another really good team. And then they also just got by Dallas' team, NFD, 10-8. That put them in the bronze division where they got a quarterfinal bye. So BSE won their first game, and they were able to beat them 13-3. Took on the Little Riot team, who we just talked about, was able to beat them 20-10. And then once again, I wanted to spend a little more time on this game against True Legacy. This game went back and forth. True Legacy took a big lead. D-backs came back and rallied. Like I said, it was the last game of the Summer Classic. Went deep into Sunday night where they took home the championship 29-26. Second time they've won hardware. So nice job to our. And finally, for this week, we hit number 20. Hit It and Quit It, formerly Ump Yours. This team is run by Chris Dunn out of Spokane, Washington. This is the second year that Chris has put in a team, and they've just gotten better each year. They moved up 18 spots from the 38 spot. They played out of Group M where they went 3-0, and they took on some good teams to win that bracket or that grouping. They took on Shenanigans, Troy Johnson's team, who we found out ended up winning the nickel division. They beat them 20-10. They took out the RBI for her pleasure team 21-8, and then 10-run Holy Cow, which in Holy Cow puts up some runs as we heard earlier on some of the game scores. They beat them 14-4 on Saturday night play. That put them in the silver division, and they took on a quarterfinal team, Straightforward, a team that has done really, really well at the Summer Classic, and they fell to them 22-2 on a Sunday morning. But still, overall, fantastic job to Chris Dunn and his team, number 20. There's definitely no shame in that. I think they had a great tournament. We're looking forward to what they do this next year. That's it, guys. We're just got 19 more teams to go, so 2 more weeks of ranking videos. Appreciate you guys tuning in each week to find out where your team is at. Is your team still out there? Where will it be ranked? We'll find out.